I can't breathe. I can't breathe. These were the final words of George Floyd, who we had to watch literally take his last breath on video. What a horrible way to die. And we hear these words ringing out in our mind, and it has a way of aggravating our spirit. And everybody wants to know, what does this have to do with our spirituality, and what is God saying in the midst of all of this? I need you to do me a favor, and I need you to call, text, share this message. Get every black man you know, every black boy you know, every man you know, and ask them to tune into this broadcast as I seek to share a word with our brothers during this message, to let them know that God is still up to something as we work through the anguish and the anxiety of what it means to be a black man in America. To our sisters, it's not that you don't matter and there is something in this message for you. It's not that you don't matter, but it's the reality that our black men are dying in the hands of our police officers. It's the 6th leading cause of death for black men, dying in the hands of police officers. And so tonight, today, whenever you're watching this broadcast, I want to address that issue and keep it real with you as we talk about this very critical matter. I can't breathe. Black lives matter. He matters, you matter. And that's what we want to kind of explore here during this Bible message on tonight. As you look at this, you need to know that it was a horrible scene for us to see this white police officer's knee on the neck of this black man. This one scene shook us to the core, because it seems that our neck has always been the target of death for black men. They have put nooses around our neck, hung us in trees, so much so until that musical genius years ago wrote that song, Strange Fruit Hanging from the Trees. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was shot in the neck. And now here it is, George Floyd has a knee in his neck. And in the midst of his death, we see the duplicity of reality. What I mean by that is, George Floyd on any given day would have been a black man that in some way most white people may fear. Big, tall, muscular, profound features. Many of them may have feared him. Can we just keep it real tonight? But then the other reality is, if he had been a great basketball player, those same ones that feared him may cheer for him. The duplicity of reality was found in him. Not only that, but in the life of George Floyd, we see God revealing a multiracial phenomenon that is unfolding throughout the world. There, the officers were multiracial. I believe one white, one Asian. I forget the race of the other two. But then George himself, who had a white girlfriend, And now the world, the movement is multiracial. And we have so many people who are coming together from all walks of life to help us in this fight. I had a friend of mine who called me and said, Bishop, I just wanted to call to ask, what is it that we can do from the white community? And I said to my clergy friend, go back and get your churches together. This is a fight for the white church. That now they need to hear a gospel that's connecting the Jesus of the Bible to the reality of social justice. That Jesus was always concerned about the oppressed. Come here, James Cone, who years ago wrote that book, God of the Oppressed, who said that God was always on this side of the oppressed. And that's what this book here, Reading the Bible from the Margins, is talking about. I wanted to share this with you tonight because it's a good read for you to read as you're trying to digest what this is all about. We're going to get into the lesson in just a few minutes. If you're looking for something else to read, Desmond Tutu's book, In God's Hand, is a great book right now. For those of you who are interested in protesting roots of resistance, is a great book by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., by William Watley, who wrote this, but it's about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a great book to have in your library. And then if you want to know what's happening in culture and how we even got to this place, this book, Choosing Donald Trump, explains how 80% of the evangelical church even elected a president that don't go to church until the other day when he took a Bible and had a photo op in front of an Episcopal church and insulted the Bible and the church. Get these books so that you'll know what's happening around us. So let's get ready to talk about this reality of what's happening in front of us for just a few moments. And as I told you, please go get every young black man and every man so that we can have a good lesson as we work through this together. I want to show you that George Floyd is not the only one that's been murdered at the hands of police officers. But you got to talk about Philando Castile, who officers were arrested but no conviction. Terrence Gratcher, Sandra Bland, Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Zakiel Boyd, Sean Bell, Tamir Rice, Freddie Gray, Henry, Oscar Grant. You see that? Anya Jones. Look at those names that are there. Trayvon Martin. All of these who were shot down or their lives were taken by police officers and no conviction. We're thankful that the charges have been upgraded to second degree. But charges are one thing, but a conviction is something else. And we have to pray that a conviction becomes the final result of this, that justice is given in the name of our brother. Because it matters for every black man that lives today. And if you can be honest, all of us live up under that threat. I wish I could tell you the number of times that I've walked into a store and I have been able to be privileged to go to some of the best universities in the world. You talk about Elon University and Duke University and had some time at Harvard University for Summer Leadership Institute, and then Oxford University in Oxford, England for a certificate program. Some of the best schools in the world. and I'm still treated in some circles as less than. What I'm telling you is that we have a lot of work to do in terms of race relations. And when it comes down to certain police officers, when they see us, we are an immediate threat. And let me be honest with you about something. Not every police officer is a bad police officer. We have some here that work at our ministry, and they're some of the nicest gentlemen you ever want to know. And they have families, and they have children, and they love God. One Sunday I was preaching, and I looked over, and the police officer was happy. I said, man, who's going to be protecting us if you shouting? They love God. Good men, good women, solid people. This week I prayed for the police because guess what? They have families too. They're somebody's spouses too. They're somebody's parents too. But like in everything else, there is a small percentage of bad anything. Can I tell you, can I be honest with you? There's some bad preachers in ministry. There's some bad doctors in medicine. There's some bad lawyers in law. There's some bad hamburger flippers at Wendy's and McDonald's. There's some bad everything. So that's who we're talking about tonight, that's taking the lives out of our, taking the breath out of our brothers and our sisters unjustly. But what do we do with all of this? What do we do with all of this? We're going to get to the word in just a few minutes. What do we do with all of this? Where do we go with this? Well, I just want to tell you this quickly, and how do we cope with all of this that's going on around us? First thing I want you to know that it's okay for you to realize that it's okay to hurt. Some of us like to walk around like we're fine and that there is nothing wrong with me. Look at that screen right there that says I'm fine. Look at that right there. And some of us walk around like we're fine, but in fact, we're angry, we're frustrated, we're unhappy, we're irritated, we're stressed, we're confused, we are bewildered, we're scared. And it's okay for sometimes as a black man for you to be scared. Acknowledge that. Man, you have been traumatized. That's trauma. We all have been traumatized when we sat there and watched a murder on video. That's trauma. We were traumatized with coronavirus. That's trauma. Traumatized to be quarantined and can't function and don't have healthy relationships to move around and to be in contact with people that we typically are in contact with. That's trauma. But then to see this murder of a black man who that could have been any of us, that's trauma. And it's okay for you to hurt. It's okay for you to be afraid. It's okay for you to have some anxiety. It's okay for you to sit down and tell somebody, I need to talk. I need to share this. I need to get this out of me. And so whatever that means for you, you have to find a way to process that. Okay? So then there are times when you got to talk, man. You got to call up another brother. You got to say, bro, listen, man, I couldn't sleep all last night, and I just need to sit down and read some word with you. You know, let's share some scripture together. Let another brother speak some word into your life. All right? You got to talk this thing out. It's okay to tell someone, listen, man, I don't feel like driving today because I'm afraid that the police going to pull up behind me and I may not make it home. That's okay. But talk it out. Don't bottle this stuff in. Can I tell you that men, sometimes we become very insecure or very inapt at relationships because we don't talk. But brother, man, you got to talk. You got to open your mouth and share how you feel and know that it matters. Know that it matters. If you don't want to talk, text it out, all right? Call up another brother, text it out and say, listen, man, I need you to pray for me, all right? Text it out. Tweet it out, all right? And I'm not saying put all your business on Twitter. Don't be like, you know who I'm talking about, the one up there. Don't be like him. But just say, hey, bro, contact me. Listen, need prayer today. Hit me up, need inspiration, all right? But the idea is that you don't have to walk around what Bill Majors sometimes wrote a book called Cool Pose. And in that book, he talked about how brothers like to walk around and look all cool, and like we have it all together, when in fact on the inside there's a hurricane going on. You don't have to be cool, man. Let people know. Sometimes you got to get a good therapist. Theology and therapy goes together. Therapy doesn't mean that you're weak. It just means that you need to talk, okay? So that's the first thing. Then let's talk about this. What does it mean for you to matter? I'm going to run through this quickly. And have you shared this with another brother yet? Have y'all shared this yet? Please share this message. Just push share and get somebody on for this, because I'm going to give some tips on how black men can get home if they ever get stopped by the cops, okay, by the police. So please share this. Go grab your husband. Go get your son, your nephew, your grandson. Tell them that we're doing Breaking Bread with Bishop, and I'm getting ready to give some tips on how they can get home if they ever get stopped by the police, all right? One, why you matter. Why do you matter, all right? First, you matter so much that you have to respect yourself. You have to respect yourself, all right? Now, you matter, so respect yourself, all right? Now, George, the case is unfolding. I don't even want to reference all of the case because I don't know all of those facts with that. What I do know is that whatever happened didn't merit him being murdered. So let's just talk about what we're talking about. You have to respect yourself. You have to live your life so that you demand respect for you. And you are always a man. I was taught that when you look at another man, you look at a man in his eye. And you are affirmed in who you are. Some of the most critical words you can ever say are the words that you say about yourself to yourself when you're by yourself. And that's why you have to affirm who you are. I am a man of God. I am a king. I am God's chosen. I am favored. I am a priest. I am a prophet. You got to affirm who you are. I am the seed of Abraham. Respect yourself. And what I'm telling you is that when you respect yourself, there are times when other races, not just police, will be intimidated by you because you have respect for you. So sometimes you disturb races because you know who you are. Don't be surprised on your job if they don't invite you to the party after work. Don't be surprised on your job if you don't get the promotion and if you don't get the pay raise that you think you deserve. It's because you know who you are. But when you know who you are and whose you are, God will always make a way for you. Yes, he will. God will always make a way for you. You matter, so respect yourself. Always respect yourself as a black man, as a black woman. Always respect yourself. Secondly, even though this is a critical situation, we must always respect law enforcement. As I told you earlier, that there are good police, there are bad police, right? But you still must respect law enforcement. Now, I'm going to tell you this, that one night I was driving down the highway and I really felt like it was a situation where I was being stopped because I was driving while black. But I was driving down the highway and I was very careful. I wasn't speeding. I looked up and those pretty blue lights were behind me. They're pretty until they get behind you, might I add. But those lights were behind me. Officer got out the car and he came up. He said, "Sir, let me see your license." I said, "Officer," I said, "I have my hands on my steering wheel." I said, "May I ask you, why did you stop me?" He said, "Sir, you were driving too slow." I said, "Really?" He said, "Let me see your license." I said, "Officer," I said, "my license are in my bag. Do I have permission to go in my bag?" He said, "Yes, give me your license." I said, "Officer, can you please put your flashlight on my bag?" He took his flashlight. I said, "Can I pull my bag closer to me so you can see in my bag?" He said, "Yes, sir, please do that." Went in my bag, gave him my license. He came back. I had my hands on my steering wheel. And I said, "Officer, isn't it something?" I said, "When I was younger, y'all used to stop me because I was driving too fast. Now I'm getting older, you stop me because I'm driving too slow." I said, "But I had no reason to drive fast because my exit is right here." I said, "Sir," I said, "but anyway," I said, we'll take it up later." He said, "Well, all I'm going to ask you to do is just speed it up a little bit." I didn't want to go back and forth with him. I had no reason to speed it up. My exit was less than 700 feet away, 800 feet away, whatever it was. I had no reason to speed up. But here's the deal. My goal was not to prove my point to him. My goal was to get my behind home. And let me tell you something. Whenever you get stopped by the police, your goal is to get home. At the end of the day, your goal is to get home. So here is my recommendation. Go get your son, go get your husband. I'm telling you some things that they need to know. Do not, at this point, keep your license in your bag. Keep your license over your shield so that you're always reaching up, okay? Also, I found out it's a good thing to turn the lights on in the car so they can always see your hands. Because if you're grabbing in bags, when they walk up on the car, they can easily say that you are grabbing for a gun and take you out of here. At the end of the day, what is the goal? Say it with me. You want to get home. And then you hire a lawyer to prove your innocence. Do not argue with that police officer. Do not resist arrest. All right? They ask you to put your hands behind your back. You put your hands behind your back and you get in that car and you hire your lawyer to straighten out the facts. Your goal is to do what? Get home to a safe place, all right? That's the goal. And then the effects will unfold as you hire your good attorney. Are y'all hearing me? So these are very critical points. You don't have to stop immediately if you don't feel like you're in a safe environment. You can drive, but put on your flashers to let him know or her know that you intend to stop. You're just looking for a safe location. It's always good to stop in a place where people are, all right? Where people are, a shopping lot, a gas station, or whatnot, where there can be witnesses seen if you don't feel like you're in a safe location, all right? So that's very important. Now, here's the deal. You matter, so you must always respect the rules and curfews. I want to talk to our millennials for a second. Those who are protesting, hey, on Facebook this week, I gave a big shout out to our millennials and to our Generation Zs. Those are 39 and under. Man, they are running this whole protest, this campaign for change. They are changing the world. But when the curfew is over at 9 o'clock, you got to go home and come back the next day and protest. You must always respect rules, all right? We have to do that. We have to do that. This is not in reference to George Floyd's case because it looks like he was doing what he needed to do. But what I'm telling you is you have to respect rules. And to those of you who feel like you can do things behind the corner and don't nobody see, let me tell you something. It's a camera everywhere. As a matter of fact, his case was strengthened because of another camera that they didn't even know was posted. A young lady had the camera on that videotaped his murder. That's now changing the world and policy and legislation, all right? And then another camera videotaped it from another angle. Another camera got it from, it's a camera everywhere. I was on my way to a funeral some time ago. I was riding down in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I was a little delayed for the traffic, and so I was coming through downtown Raleigh, and I wanted to get there for the funeral before they secured the body. And so anyway, I was driving fast, and I got up on a stoplight, and right before it turned red, I ran through that stoplight. I know I shouldn't have done it. Stop talking bad about me. I know I shouldn't have done it. Ran right through that red light. 2 weeks later, I'm opening up my mail, and I get a letter from DMV. And there it is. They're charging me with a ticket for running a red light in Raleigh, North Carolina. I said, oh, I can fight this. They ain't got no proof that I ran that red light until I got to page 2. And there's my picture, big as day, with my license plate and a picture of me in the car, leaning to the side, running the red light. And it hit me that, you know what, it's a camera everywhere. And I want to say to our young brothers that think that they can do things and break laws and do crime, this has nothing to do with George Floyd because he didn't deserve to die. So I'm not talking about that now. I'm on something else. I'm talking to us now. Man, let me tell you something. There's a camera everywhere. And we have to do all we can to alleviate confrontation with the law. So if you don't want any problems with the law, do all you can. They may still arrest you just because you're black. But don't let them find anything on you in the process. Are you hearing me? And then, last but not least, know the value of your voice. Okay? Know the value of your voice. Don't be afraid to voice what you feel. All right? Know, don't be afraid to share your dreams. In spite of what's happening with this whole case, don't let it destroy your dream. Keep on dreaming, brother. All right? And then, watch this. Always use your gift. All right? Some of you are some gifted men, gifted brothers. All right? Use your gift. Don't let the fear of you being arrested or you being pulled over or you being murdered or you being killed, don't let that stop your gift coming forth. You must still do that, all right? And then depend on your experience of what you know. And what we know is that we come from a legacy of strong men who have survived some hard and difficult things. And that the reason that the enemy wants to break us is because we are strong and we are mighty and we are men of valor. And listen, let me tell you something. And let's do all that we can. Let's put down violence in our own lives. Let's curse out violence and shooting up our communities and our schools. Let's curse that out. Let's do away with that. Let me tell you what's happening now. The world, hear me out. The world is marching on our behalf. Don't miss this moment. The world is marching on our behalf. God is putting us front and center. And we can't blow it. I'm talking to us now. We can't blow this new opportunity. So we can't shoot each other over a tennis shoe, over a video game, over a card game. We can't kill each other over $1. And I know there are bigger issues. I know that. I hear you, brother. I know that. I know you can't find a job. I know that. I know they keep bringing up your record and you can't make. I know that. That's a whole nother lesson. I know those of you who are looting. I know you're just trying to store up some stuff so you can make a living when all these riots are over. I understand that. But what I'm telling you is God is putting us front and center. They're marching for us in Germany. They're marching for us in France. They're marching for us in England. They're marching for us all over the world. We have to honor this moment. And for nobody else, for George, we got to be determined that we're going to value every breath that we have. And live and help another brother to live. I'm going to leave you with these words in Romans 8:28. And it says, and we know that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And we know, that word know, there's a word know called gnosko. I didn't get a chance to really look that up here, but I guarantee you in the Greek it is gnosko. It is almost like, okay, so if I just know, okay, I'll give you an example. I know that this is a table because it's a table, right? But if I built this table, if I cut the wood, if I put the stand on the table and screwed in the nails, I know it differently. So if you come in the room, you just know it's a table. But if I built it, I know it differently. I know where every screw is. I know the strength of it. I know the kind of wood it is. I know it differently. And we know know. You got to know it differently. You got to know it at a deeper level that all things work together for the good. It didn't say that all things were good. That's not what it said. All things are not always good, but all things work together for the good. All things work together for the good, which means that all things, everything eventually comes out in my favor. For them that love not what happens, but them that love the Lord. Good God, my master. All things work together for the good of them that love not what happens, but them that love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose. And so, my brother, my sister, you have a purpose. And God wants you to live. And so then now you can breathe. You can breathe because justice will be served. You can breathe because there is a God who sits high. There is a God who looks low. You can breathe because he that is within us is greater than he that's in the world. You can breathe because swords shall be turned into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks. You can breathe because God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. You can breathe because weeping may endure for a night, but joy does come in the morning. Beloved, I love you. Thank you for tuning in, and God bless you. And listen, I can't wait until we share again. Tune in again with us during our regular services. You may go to our website, unionbaptistwsnc.org. Leave us a financial gift that we may continue to be a blessing to you. You may mail it in, or you may use our technology giving as we try to be a blessing to you. God bless you, and hopefully you have enjoyed Breaking Bread with Bishop. God bless you.
Hello. First of all, we want to thank you so much for your generous support so that we can continue to operate in excellence. The following are ways to give tithes and offerings using technology. Use the Push Pay app or go to Giving page on the Union Baptist website. Use the Cash app, which is $UBC Trade 1200. Use the Givelify app, Union Baptist Church, Winston-Salem. For Rise Up giving, please use the designated Cash app, $Union Baptist Rise Up. If you don't use technology for giving, you may bring your tithes, offering, and Rise Up campaign payments on Sundays from 10 a.m. till noon. Envelopes will be available. Or you can mail checks only. No cash, only checks to 1200 North Trade Street, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, 27101. Now, please make a note of the following announcements. Thursdays at 6:30 p.m., it's Breaking Bread with Bishop. Get the family together and have family dinner while watching Bible study. If this is not a convenient time, you can view the video 24 hours a day on our Facebook page, website, or YouTube. Saturday morning worship schedule, 9 a.m. phone line worship, 10 a.m. C2C remix phone line worship, 11 a.m. Saturday Connect worship by Zoom. On Saturday evening, we will have our phone line church conference call at 7 p.m. Our Sunday morning worship schedule, 8:30 a.m. phone line worship, 9 a.m. Sunday school, 10 a.m. virtual worship. Go to the Union Baptist website, YouTube, or Facebook. 12 p.m. service will be broadcast on the Truth radio station, 1340 a.m. Please note the new number for our phone line. Dial 774-258-4711. No code needed. Dial straight in. Please continue to visit the Union Baptist website updates page. Click on the members button. And remember, wash your hands frequently. Avoid large crowds over the size of 10. Cover coughs and sneezes. Stay at home when you're sick. Don't hoard food. The supply chain is fine right now. Have a blessed week.